right, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Good morning, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. Um, we are, of course, going to be finishing off the rest of the month. So today, tomorrow, we're going to be doing the rest of the expired, old expireds, and we're going to continue to just break that down and add more value.
Recording in progress.
For those of you that are joining us over on YouTube, those of you that are joining us over on Instagram, the usual, I'm going to encourage you to come join us over here on Zoom. Also, for those of you that are joining us on Facebook, to yes, come join us over here on Zoom so that we can. We're going to be sharing the script today, so I want to make sure that you guys are joining us. All right, so let me go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and talk about things that that I have not covered in regards to the expires. There's really one main point that I want to finish off, and we're going to get into some role play. But before I do, is there any questions, comments, concerns, anything of anything that anyone wants to address? Good. I've done a great job the entire month of breaking down the expireds. I always love when we don't have any questions because that only says that I'm doing a great job. So, all right, let's go ahead and pick up with where we left off. If you do have questions, feel free to type them in. I'll address them in all the platforms, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, of course, and here on Zoom. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the quantity. Okay, so quantity. We are going to go into some role play, but let's break this part down first. Okay, and the quantity, what do I mean by that? When the market is going like this, okay, upward trajectory, is there a lot or is there a little bit of expireds when the market's on the up and up? Okay, there's a little bit. No, there's a little bit. Okay, so when the market is up, everybody is selling. Everybody doesn't need us. Properties are flying off the shelf. They don't need us. But when the market's like this, and we're kind of almost like this somewhat, okay, there's been 3 to 5% decrease since the beginning of the year for some markets. Is there more or is there less in terms of expireds, again, overall, okay, in a downward market? Okay, there's going to be more. Okay, so that we're on the same page. So we're in this kind of a market. It's not this, it's not straight, Armageddon downhill, losing 10, 20, 30% in terms of value. But there has been in certain markets where there's a 2, 3, 5% drop in value from the beginning of the year. What that does is it creates this backlog of listings. And because there's a backlog of listings, that now there's more inventory. And because there's more inventory, there are more options. And because there are more options, buyers are more selective. And as with what the market that we find ourselves in, buyers are going, okay, I like that property, but I'm not really quite feeling the interest rates. And in this, what ends up happening is we have this abundance of listings that are sitting on the market. Days on market starts to increase. It goes from 10 days on market, 20 days on market, 30 days on market, 42 days on market, so on and so forth. Now, the reason I'm describing this is because the expired market goes like this. Okay, it goes up, it goes down. There's more, there's less. There's more and there's less. And that's all subject to with what's going on with the economy. That's the part where I say proceed with caution for those of you that dig very deep in the same well. Okay, so in other words, if you're going only after one source or two sources, and they are very market driven specific, you have to be very careful. Okay. So I've had clients, for example, in the past, I'll leave this person in a sense nameless, where when we were working together, he was doing about 40, 45 deals a year, very successful realtor, was predominantly going after for sale by owners. Out of 40 deals a year, this person was doing probably a good 25, almost 30 deals. That's awesome. That's great. Wow. 2 for sale by owners a month. That's awesome. And the rest of it, of course, was coming predominantly from Sphere. But he wouldn't go after his Sphere. He was just a successful realtor, would naturally just get business coming to him, and it would just, in a sense, fall in his lap. Well, the market started to go like this, like straight up, okay? We all know what ended up happening after the COVID window, basically 5, 10, 15, 20 offers, depending on the market, getting offers 5, 10, 15, 25, 50, even $100,000 over asking price. You guys remember that market? Well, in that window for this particular gentleman, was there more or is there less need from for sale by owners? There was less need. And because of that, his business was very susceptible to the market. He got down to about 18 to 20 units, okay, which we weren't done. Of course, me being a good if not great coach, exceptional coach, this is the time where we dig deep in regards to our database. Now, I'm not talking about database. This isn't the database topic. But what I'm getting at is we have to have diversification. I expect all of my clients to have at least 4 sources of business. 4 sources of business. Okay. And if you don't, you're wondering, why am I having 3 deals closed, no deals closed, no deals closed, 1 deal closed, no deals closed, 2 deals closed type of a business model? Well, that's normally because you find yourself going after the 1 or 2 sources. Okay. Now, why is that important? It's important because of my point today. When we do have an abundance, or at least a little bit more from the topic of what we're talking about right now with expireds, we have to take advantage of that. We want to take advantage of that. Okay. And in that taking advantage of that, what we want to do is we want to capitalize, but we also don't want to be overwhelmed. Okay. So as an example, here we are next week, a week from today, expire date. That's going to be the 1st. This is the last time we're going to talk about this for at least a good 4 or 5, maybe 6 months about expireds. So on expire day, which I'm preparing you for, I want to make sure you guys take a certain approach. Okay. So in that approach, we want to look for, number 1 is going to be the focal points. Okay. The focal points, remember, is going to be focal point number 1 is your top 3 zip codes. Top 3 zip codes. Focal point number 2, that's going to be your top 3 cities. So now, today, we run our numbers. We look at and we see 6, 7, 8 expireds. That's healthy. Okay. We look tomorrow. All of a sudden, there's 8, 9, 10 expires. Oh, even better. Then we look the next day. Oh, there's only 3 or 4. It wasn't that strong of an expire day. But all of a sudden, on expire day, the 1st, next Wednesday, all of a sudden, there's 47 expired listings. What in the world do I do? What am I supposed to do with this? Now, I've broken it down before. Okay, I've broken it down before. But the very first thing I want you to do, especially on expire day, is I want you to separate the focal points. Okay, and the reason we have 2, I'm going to go into more depth. The reason we have 2 is because it's all going to be subject to what's going on with the market. Okay, so all of a sudden you run the numbers on the 1st, there's 47 expires. You look at your top 3 zip codes, and then there's 4 properties. Cool, awesome. That's a good number, but it's not necessarily where I want you to be at. Now you look at your top 3 cities. Okay, your top 3 cities. And as you look at your top 3 cities, now you see that there's 12 properties in the top 3 cities. Okay, so I want you guys to be, when possible, in that 10 to 20 range. That's my point. So in the quantities of everything I'm talking about, I want you to be in the 10 to 20s. Now, for some markets and certain people, what do? They just have this wide net. And every day they're getting, and I have clients like this where they'll get 20, 25, 30 expireds every single day. Okay. And they find themselves overwhelmed. And then I have other clients where it's so concentrated that they're only getting 1, 2, or 3 expireds. We want to create a search criteria, ideally around that 10 to 20 range. Okay, so you want to be in that 10 to 20 range. So if you're not, you want to expand. Okay, now I'm not talking about expire day. Okay, I just gave you guys an example on expire day. I want you guys to be in focusing on either focal point number 1 or focal point number 2. And in that, as long as you end up in that 10 to 20 range, all of a sudden on the 2nd, you now end up with 6 properties. Okay, well, we have to maybe look at expanding. What do we got to do to get more? Okay, right now, it's not this, I would probably give it a B- type of expired market. It's not this overwhelm. It's not a huge amount of expires, but there's a healthy amount in most markets. Okay. And I want you guys to take advantage of that. But what I want you to do is I want you to identify that 10 to 20 range. Okay. So 10 properties. In those 10 properties, remember, we're going to have 3 phone numbers, at least on average. Some are going to have 5, some are going to have 2, but we're just using the average number of 3 phone numbers per property. If you have 10 properties times 3, that gives us the number 30. That's 30 available phone numbers. It's very, very normal to be about 1 minute per number. Very normal. Okay. Now, why is this important? Okay. The reason why this is important is because it gives you guys the opportunity. Okay, it gives you guys the opportunity to be able to have a nice amount of expires to go after. And when you go through round one, round two, round three, okay, that's going to give you guys the opportunity to be able to identify 30 available numbers. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, adjust your search. Okay. Even in the stronger markets, okay, even in the stronger markets, as I mentioned with my friend Frank, we would go through, he would service mostly LA County and west, all the way to the ocean. I would service mostly LA County east, all the way to pretty much about Palm Springs, Palm Desert, and all the way down to like Temecula. But we would cross paths. Okay. And in that, there would be times where, yeah, for me, it would be 2, 3, 4 properties. But then I incorporated some of West LA. I would now have another 4, 5, or 6. So I would expand that search. Now, when I would set the appointments, I would basically send it over to Frank because I'm not about to drive, over to Burbank on a Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock. It's just not going to happen. And vice versa. He's not going to do the exact same thing for a listing as an example in Victorville. Does that make sense? Okay. So I want to make sure that we do understand that. Okay. Now, just out of curiosity, I know Shelly's throwing me some numbers. I don't really quite comprehend why there's only one that shows up today. Aqua, how many expires did you get today? Or yesterday? Or any given average day?
Gosh, yesterday might have been something like 15.
15? Okay, that's perfect. Exactly where I want you to be at. Okay. Sean, are you in a position to unmute?
Yes, sir.
What are you averaging right now in terms of expireds?
Expireds probably 3 to 5, but we have probably triple the amount of cancels.
Okay. So in total, so if we were to add expires and cancels, we're probably what, 9, 10, 12?
I would say daily minimum, yes.
Okay. So that's exactly where I want you guys to be at. Okay. So in Shelly's case, I get it. I understand. We talked a little bit about this.
Oh, yeah. Like for me on Monday, Tuesday, I had 0 expired, 5 canceled. Yesterday, I had in San Joaquin County, those 5 cities, 1 canceled, 1 expired.
Okay. So in that, you're just going to have to expand. Okay. Expand. Go further.
Yeah, I'm as far out as I can go. I do have another county, Brentwood and Antioch, and then I'm done. I'm not driving past 50 miles.
Yeah, no, and I don't want you to. That's the reason I brought up Frank, because I'm definitely not going to be driving over to Burbank, which is only 20-mile drive. But anything in LA, 20 miles going from Burbank back to Rancho Cucamonga on a Friday, forget about it. That's a parking lot. That's 2 hours there. That's another 2.5 hours back. That's another half-hour presentation. I'm not going to be doing a 5-hour turnaround trip. So instead, I'm sending it over to Frank. So what I'm encouraging in your case, Shelly, is expand your search, identify the Antioch agents or the people that are in that area that you can partner with, and create the co-listing opportunities. Okay. So in today, with what I want to get at is I want you guys to take into all of that into consideration. There are going to be certain areas, and if the market, which I don't anticipate, I don't think the market's going to get weaker. I don't, unless, bar there's some war that takes place or something that, drastically happens. I don't see us really in a sense getting worse as a market. But let's say we did. And all of a sudden, Aqua's numbers on a daily, instead of it being 10, 12, 15, all of a sudden it starts to become 30, 35, 40. Same thing with Sean. What I want to do is I want you guys now to, of course, zero in, focus in, okay? And start to, trim some of that fat, okay? Sometimes your search can be, as an example, for me, it would be skewed. And what I mean by that is that, I would go 40 minutes west towards LA. So I would go into Pasadena and take listings there. And I'd go into, the cities of like Diamond Bar and Walnuts and stuff like that, because that's a greater price point, $800 million price points. But I wouldn't quite go 20 minutes east, because that's now San Bernardino. And San Bernardino, I'm now taking listings at $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. So sometimes it's not going to be a perfect circle. Okay. So you'll have to, in a sense, determine what are those markets or areas that you're willing to cover. Okay. Good. Questions, comments, concerns, anything of anything. So I want to get into some role play. That's the purpose of what we're working on. So any questions that I can address?
So Robert, I was wondering, are you opposed to doing Zoom presentations? I know you said you send them over, you refer them to Frank, but if you can still get the listing and just do a Zoom presentation, how do you feel about that?
I embrace that all day, every day. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, and it was very, very common for me, especially when I would call absentee owners. They'd have a listing, for example, or a property in San Bernardino, but they lived in Austin, Texas, or they lived in, Portland, Oregon, or I mean,
Oh, okay.
one of my strongest investors actually was in Istanbul. So
Okay.
yeah, so we would do, I forget what the what's it called, the video chat was, prior, but same exact thing. So I would encourage, when possible. The only thing is, it's a little bit challenging with expireds because you are doing it via Zoom, whereas the other two, three, four of your competition is doing it in person. Okay, but test it
Okay.
out. Okay, test it out. We're constantly in the state of shifting as to our habits. I mean, think of 20 years ago, when we needed to communicate with somebody, we'd pick up the phone and we'd call them. Now, what do? We text them. Okay. We don't even order pizza anymore by picking up the phone. We literally just go on our phone on the app and just simply, here we go. I want a large pepperoni pizza. Okay. So on and so forth. So my point is that just give it a shot. Okay. And with what I'm saying today, in 6 months, a year or 2 years from now, yeah, all of a sudden you do become. I have some previous clients and some good friends where 90% of their presentations are actually done on Zoom. Okay. So give it a whirl.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead. And any other questions? Let me take a look. All right. So, Deborah, did you have a question or just give me a crisp high five?
Yes, I did.
All right, go for it.
Would you handle cancel different than you would just an expired?
No. You treat it the exact same thing. The only thing different is going to be the opening. Okay. And the opening, as we have here, I'm sure you see several calls right now regarding your property coming up as an expired listing. And I was simply calling to see when are you planning to interview the right agent for the job of selling your home. So instead of going through, I see it came up on the computer as an expired listing. I just simply say, I see that you pulled your home on the market. I was curious, when are you planning on putting it back?
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
only thing different. Everything else remains the exact same.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Because
Thank you.
if you go into it, you're welcome. If you go into it and you say it came up as an expired listing, you'll get some people, and it's very common, especially my analytical friends, they will correct you. It didn't expire. I
Mhm.
canceled it. I told the agent I don't want to deal with it. So no, it did not expire. And then you end up in an awkward position. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Great
Thank
question. When you're speaking of when we're going through in the dialing system, I'm going to encourage you to make sure, because here's what normally happens. Most of you guys, what are you guys doing? You guys are sitting there, the auto dialing system is going at it, and you guys are on your phone. You guys are like, oh, look at that. What's happening in Instagram world? What's happening on Facebook? Oh, okay. Hello. And you guys get caught off guard, right? And you're sitting there, you're stumbling. What's the person's name? What's the information? You got to focus. Focus on what is in front of you. Okay. And in what's in front of you, you got to look at the name, because there's nothing more disrespectful. Trust me, half the time people screw up my last name, right? So, and it's okay. So in that, you want to be able to make sure you are asking for their name appropriately when possible. Okay. But a percentage of the time when you're not paying attention, you're scrambling. Okay. So make sure you guys are paying attention to that. Number two is make sure you're seeing the difference between an expired and canceled, because again, if you're not paying attention, you're going to find yourself going right into the expired when it's a canceled. Sean, you have a question?
How do you treat LLCs?
Yeah. So LLC, names you can't pronounce, anything from that direction, I always say the homeowner. Okay. That's it. So when I go through, am I speaking with the homeowner regarding the property here on 123 Banana Street? Yes, it is, or no, it isn't. That's the only thing. Okay. The other things too, just a couple of quick little points is when a person, for example, John and Mary Smith, okay, John and Mary Smith is on title and it shows up on the system, and then a lady picks up. Okay, what I basically don't do is I don't say Miss Smith. If a guy picks up, I don't say Mr. Smith. Okay. If a guy picks up, I say John. If a lady picks up, I say Mary. Now, if it just said Mary Smith and a John picks up, then I'm just going to say Mr. Smith. Okay. going to be wrong every once in a while. I'm not Mr. Smith. That's my wife's name. I'm John, Sanchez or whatever. I don't know. Okay. So my point being is that still, whatever you possibly can, always ask for their first name. And then also too, if they have, names like Michael, I just go with Mike. Okay. Because it's very, very common. Why do I do that? Because most of the time, if I go through and I ask for Mr. Michael Smith, hi, Mr. Michael Smith, right out the gate, they're going to be like telemarketer, click, bye. Okay. Versus, hello, Mike. Who's this? You got that? Okay. All right. And then let's take a look. So Sylvia, question in regards to provide scripts. Yes, you guys are always welcome to get scripts. Just send me a DM. Option 1, you can send me a DM through Instagram. That's always going to be the preference. My assistants will get that over to you. Option 2 is just simply go to my website. Okay, my website is very simple. It's the same handles across all the platforms, The Robert Villanueva. So go to www.therobertvillanueva.com, and then you can go ahead and request the scripts there. All right, let's get some role play in here real quick, because I know that we do have some other remaining questions. But let me go ahead and get the role play. Who wants to be the agent and give it a whirl? Awesome. Aqua, you ready?
Did I say okay? Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, I'm looking for Robert.
Yeah, this is him.
Hey, Robert. My name is Aqua, and the reason for the call today, I am a broker with Coldwell Banker, and I was calling about your home over on a Banana Street.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It looked like it expired. So just curious, when do you plan on putting it back on the market?
Yeah, we don't know exactly when we're going to do that. We're just a little bit frustrated with the process. If you want to maybe hold on to my number, we might revisit the idea maybe next month. And we're even toying with the idea of next year.
Oh, absolutely. I can certainly do that. I can definitely hold on to your number. And, I can hear the frustration in your voice, Robert. Just curious, if you had sold the property, where were you going?
Well, we are going. We're actually making a move over to Florida. We'll do that. There's no rush. We're not in like anything dire. We're just going to get over to Florida sooner rather than later.
Okay, so you want to get over to Florida sooner rather than later?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just curious, if I can show you, or if there was a way that I could get your home sold in the next 30 days on your terms, would that pose a problem for you?
All right. So great job in terms of going for the close. I will take that all day, every day. I have no problem with you guys going in for the close after question number 2, question number 5, question number 7, because on average, we're going to close 5 to about 7 times. Okay. The majority of agents unfortunately close once, maybe 2, and they're very weak versions of closes. Okay. So no, I have no problem with that. Aqua, great job overall getting into it. I know I caught you a little bit off guard by going into it, but I do want you to dig a little bit more of what's waiting for you in Florida. Okay. What's waiting for you in Florida? What's the benefit? I understand you want to take this house off the market. You want to wait it out a little bit. Okay. But what's stopping you from making the move? Anything from that direction. Okay. So let's do it one more time. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. And I want you to take a little bit of a different approach and ask me at least a question or 3 regarding motivation.
Okay.
Okay. You just figure out where it's going to go. So start from the top. There we go. Hello.
Hello. Yes, I was looking for Robert.
Yeah. Who's this?
Hi, Robert. My name is Aqua, and the reason for the call today, I am a broker with Coldwell Banker Realty, and I was calling about your home on Banana Street. It looks like it expired, and was just curious, when do you plan on putting it back on the market?
We're probably not. We're going to hold off for just a little bit.
Oh, you're going to hold off for a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, understood. And just curious, what's stopping you from selling?
Go into where were you moving to?
Okay, so just curious, if you had sold the home, where are you going next?
Well, we are going to go to Florida, so that's the inevitable.
Oh, Florida, that's exciting. Just curious, what's taking you to Florida?
Well, that's originally where I'm from, and it's time to just go back home.
So, okay, so that's home for you. Got it. Okay. And just curious, what's important to you about, what's the most important thing about you getting back to Florida? for that move?
Just I'm about to retire. I'm basically retiring at the end of the year, and my ultimate goal is just to, finish my days with where I started my days, and I'd like to make my way out to Florida at some point.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's wonderful. Yeah. Well, congratulations, by the way, on the
Yeah.
retirement.
Uh,
And, yeah. And so, how soon would you ideally like to be there?
yeah. What's stopping you from making the move now?
Yeah. What's stopping you from making the move now?
Nothing really. It's just a matter of getting this house sold.
Oh, it's just a matter of getting the home sold.
Mm,
Okay, great. Well, Robert, if I can show you a written improvement plan that can get you to Florida,
mm.
get you going with in your retirement, would that pose a problem for you?
No, not really. I mean, ultimately, I was really just trying to time this whole thing up so that we can go ahead and be there. I really honestly don't mind, even making the move prematurely if necessary. My retirement is it's not subject to my move. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I'd be open to the idea, but like I said, I'm not really looking to meet with anybody today, tomorrow, this week.
Okay, not a problem.
Mm,
Absolutely, and I can totally understand.
mm.
And just curious if we could schedule, maybe put you down for a quick meeting the following week. I'm looking at my calendar. I'm open on, the 25th.
Mm.
What's the best time for you and your family, Robert?
Well, if you
Mornings or
want,
afternoon?
if you want to call me next week, I'm okay with that. But right now, I'm not looking to meet with anybody.
Absolutely. Okay, for sure. Just curious now if I just can sit down with you for 15 minutes and just kind of go over without any pressure or obligation.
Jump
Just
back
meet
into the
with
script.
you.
Jump back into the script. You're forcing
Okay.
you're forcing the appointment at this time. Hey, that's fair. I totally
Right,
get with
right,
where
right.
you're
And that's
coming
what you
from. Yeah, it's fair. I totally
okay.
get with where you're coming from. I understand with where you're coming from, Aqua. Now, I am curious though. What stopped you guys from selling? So we just jump right back into the script. Is what I'm trying to get you to do.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just always like trying to get the close.
And that's okay. That's okay. But we give it a shot. We give it a stab. We don't make it forceful. Okay. You
Okay.
try. You tried two back to backs. Don't go for the third one, especially that early, because you're gonna rub them the wrong way. Hey, I respect exactly. I can definitely call you next week. Let's roll reverse. I can definitely call you next week, Aqua. That's definitely an option. Is there a preferable day you'd like me to call you?
Sure. You could give me a call on Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll write that down here to call you back on Monday. But I am curious though. What do you think stopped your home from selling?
Oh, you know what? That's a good
Hmm.
question. I don't know. The agent said that it was priced too high.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, I see you listed here with Bob Smith. How did you happen to pick Bob, by the way?
Well, he was a referral,
Okay.
and yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So he was a referral. Unfortunately, I see you guys were on the market for almost 6 months. I mean, what was Bob doing though that you liked best?
Um, well, I guess he did okay. I
Okay.
mean, he was good with communicating
Okay.
once a week.
Yeah.
But I
Mm.
really did hire him to get the home sold.
Yeah, absolutely. Get you guys over to Florida. I mean, that's the most important
Yeah,
part. By the way, what part of Florida are you guys looking to make a move to?
we're going to Central,
Ah, Central Florida. Is there a specific city you have in mind?
Orlando.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And yeah, as you mentioned, you're looking to retire. Now, as far as your spouse is concerned, how do they feel about making that move over to Central Florida?
Very excited.
Yeah,
We're
very
both
excited.
excited.
So, how
Yeah.
is this going to impact you and your family when you do get out to Orlando?
Well, you know what? We'll have one less mortgage,
Mhm.
and yeah, we'll be in the place where we want to be.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. And let me get back to Bob here real quick. What do you feel he should have done?
Sold the house.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing, Aqua. What I'd like the opportunity to do is share with you and, of course, your spouse in regards to with what I do to sell homes. Are you familiar with the techniques I use to sell homes?
No, I don't know you.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. And I can appreciate that. Well, why don't we get the opportunity to know each other? I'd love the opportunity to share with you with what it is that I do different from a lot of the other realtors, including that of Bob. Now, I know you said to call you on Monday, but what I'd rather do, I'm looking at my calendar right now, and I see that I'm not going to be too far from you on an appointment that I need to attend to today. And we can go ahead and meet either before, which would be 4 o'clock, or should we meet after closer to 6 o'clock? What time would work better for the three of us?
um, you know what? We could shoot for 6.
Okay.
I'm not making any promises though.
No, no, no. The promise is basically just meeting with each other, investing 20 to 30 minutes of time. And I just want to show you exactly with what it is that I do different from all the other realtors. If it makes sense, great. We do move forward. And if it doesn't make sense, that's okay. And we'll stop right there because at that point in time, I would go into the role play. What's my appointment at 5 o'clock? Well, coincidentally, there's a 7-Eleven that has my favorite Slurpee that's just right down the street. And I promised myself that I was going to be getting a Slurpee today at 5 o'clock. They don't need to know whether it's a dentist, doctor, hair appointment, and a listing appointment, buyer appointment.
Right.
I'm basically just putting myself in the, well, he's already going to be here, might as well. Okay. All right, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, that was great. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. If I can only get them to stay on the phone with me that long.
Well,
to
the
ask those
the
questions.
first thing I'm going to say, Aqua, with what we did today is don't force the appointment. Okay.
Okay.
Give it a jab. Okay. Give it a quick jab and see if they bite. If they don't, get back on script.
Go
And then
back on
two,
script.
two,
Okay.
three. And then remember, you have to focus on motivation. Them, their focus, what they want. Okay. It's not about us. It's about them.
Right.
Because in the
Okay.
setting of the appointment, I want to meet with you. I want to show you. And at that point in time, it turns it into the me thing and away from the
Yeah.
them thing. Make sense?
All right.
Cool.
Good stuff. Thanks, Robert.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, everybody. Well, thank you guys here for attending. Tomorrow's going to be the last day. If you have any other questions, comments, concerns, you guys are welcome to DM me on Instagram. That's usually the best place to send me a message. And as far as the scripts, coaching, anything else, you guys feel free to visit my website, www.therobertvillanueva.com. Go there. You can get all the information about scripts. You can get all information about coaching. You can get your discount code regarding Vulcan. So I'm really excited about continuing to, growing my coaching company. So I appreciate you guys continuing to see the value. All right, everybody. I'll see you guys. Don't forget today, buyer consultation. I'm going to be doing another buyer consultation today at 12 o'clock. So if you want to know what that's about, tune in. I'll see you guys at 12. And if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. I'll see you guys over on Zoom, and that's going to be on Zoom only, and that's going to be the buyer consultation. So make sure you guys tune in and go there. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon.